Okay, so we are streaming live right now. I think we are good to start. So one request that I definitely want to say here, it's quite apt as a last session as well. So it's from Asha. She has written that if ma'am can walk down the memory lane and recall the first song that she sang for a movie or on a stage, would be lovely to hear. And she also wishes to share qualities that help in pursuing to continue a goal. So that could be the question part, but song, definitely I think we should start with that.
That's a question. Let's start with the Asatoma anyway, and then we'll go to
Sure.
the song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Asatoma Satgamaya Tamaso Jyotirgamaya Mrityunma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighnan Kuru Me Deva Nirvighnan Kuru Me Deva Nirvighnan Kuru Me Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvakareshu Sarvada 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 Sarvada. Yeah, so my journey, whose question was that? Can I?
Yeah, it's Asha's question.
You can, okay.
Yep.
Hi. So, yeah, well, my music journey I started when I was 4 years old, 4 to 5 years old, when I was doing my nursery. I went to a convent, Vijay Mata convent in a small village in Kerala. So which was run by, of course, nuns, and they were. This was again, this school was a fantastic school, I must say, because they gave a lot of importance for arts, and most of the days we were singing and dancing. I was just a part of music and dance and theater, and so my mother, I'm sure I was repeating, or I was just singing along whatever I heard. I wouldn't call my mother a professional singer, but there was a lot of music in my family, which meant that my father's mother used to sing. My father's sister used to sing. My aunt used to sing. My mother's sister used to sing, and my mother, I've heard stories that we come from an aristocratic family, and I've heard that great musicians like Chemavednath Bhagavatar. I mean, it's destiny that I came to his most favorite disciple. That there were many musicians, there were many artists. You know, we had a temple festival. We have a beautiful temple inside our house. You know, inside our Nalikata, the bungalows, Mattaipuras. So there we used to have a lot of artists, great artists come and all that. So probably because of all the encouragement and that was given to those artists in terms of money, in terms of respect, in terms of acknowledgement and all that, some great musicians would have blessed, which made gave that spark in me to sing. And so my mom used to make it a point to feed me only. Those days there was no TV, so they used to have these film songs, between 8 and 8:30 in the night. So that was the time Amma used to feed me, and continuously the songs would go. And the first person whom I really caught my attention was Janaki Amma. I grew up listening to her, and when I did my first standard or second standard, first standard I sang a very normal song, it's a Malayalam song, but so the school people, they were very happy, and so when I was in my second standard, that I remember very clearly, that I was in my second standard, just passed on to my second standard, and my school decided that they have to send me for the inter-district competitions among schools. And so I was supposed to be learning a difficult song, and Amma did choose a very, very difficult song. When I sing it now, I really do not know how I managed to sing that difficult song. The words were difficult, but I can still very vividly remember those moments where Amma used to make me memorize the words, because even then words memorizing was difficult for me, not the tune. I'll sing that song. I was reminded of that song when very recently one of my schoolmates, they said, do you know the song? And suddenly I had totally forgotten about the song, but I just sang, and I was so surprised to know that I hadn't even forgotten even one word of that song. I will sing. You'll be നീരതലതാഗ്രഹം പൂകി പൊഴുതങ്കി നീരവമിരിക്കുന്നു രാഗവിഭ്രമമേന്തി ഹൃദയം ദ്രവിപ്പിക്കും ഏതൊരു ജ്വലഗാനം ഉദയലയം ഭവാൻ ആലപിക്കുന്നു സ്വൈരം കനക നീർജോളമൂർന്ന നഗ്നോരസമേവും അനവദ്യയാം സന്ധ്യാദേവി തൻ കപോലത്തിൽ ക്ഷണമുണ്ടൊലിക്കാറായി മിന്നുന്നു താരാബാഷ്പകണമൊന്നനിൽ വാച്യം നവ്യനിർവൃതി ബിന്ദു അങ്ങിൽ നിന്നറിഞ്ഞു ഞാൻ പൂർണ്ണമാത്മാവിങ്കൽ തിങ്ങിടും അനുഭവം പകരും കലാശൈലി അങ്ങിൽ നിന്നറിഞ്ഞു ഞാൻ പൂർണ്ണമാത്മാവിങ്കൽ തിങ്ങിടും അനുഭവം പകരും കലാശൈലി നിത്യഗായക നിത്യഗായക പഠിപ്പിക്കുകെന്നൊരുസ്പന്ദത്തെ സത്യജീവിത ഗന്ധഗീതത്തിൻ താളമേന്തി कालक्रमं जीवितं गानं ताळं रागम् आत्माविन नानाभावमोरोरागम् विश्वमण्डलं लयम्. So this was my very first competition song. Probably, as I'm thinking about it, probably the Sangatis would not have been this crisp. Maybe because, of course, that refinement would have happened over my singing. But pretty much, I still remember that. And for almost 6 to 8 months, for almost a year, and then I was going for all the competitions. And Kerala, for that matter, was one of the, I think, I don't know how it is, but now all of politics and, trying to manipulate the results and all is happening very much in Kerala. But then Kerala was one of those states where they give so much of importance to music and arts that there were competitions almost every other month, or sometimes twice, thrice a month. And from that time, since I got my first prize in my district, my convent, my headmistress and my teachers used to take me to all the places, all competitions possible. I still remember that I used to sing for a whole of second. I think I sang this song and kind of bagged all the. And I whenever I sang the Nitya Gayaka, they would look at me, and I was very puny. So then they would put the marks first. So I would look, after the second competition, I knew that is when they wrote the marks. So just after Nitya Gayaka alone, I would look at the judges to see whether they're scribbling something. Then I knew. So that was my first song. And my first film song was again with Ilayaraja sir, because Ilayaraja sir is a student of my guru, so he used to come there. And one day, as I, by then I was going to school. I had come to Chennai. I was staying in my guru's house. So then, as I was going to school, Raja sir used to come in early morning at 4:30, around 5 o'clock. He would come for class. That was when he used to come. Raja sir used to come at 5 o'clock. And I had to leave for my school at 6:15. My bus used to come to near Appa's house at 6:15 a.m. in the morning. I had to go all the way to Egmore. So I had to walk up to the bus stand, take a bus. So to catch a bus at 6:15, I had to leave Appa's home at 6, which means that 5:15 I had to go. So 4 to 5 used to be my riyaz. And then by 5:15, Raja sir would come, and then I would go off the Appa's classroom. And then I would go get ready to my school. So that's how. So one of those days he said, well, why don't you come? So for my first song was with Balu Uncle, S.P. Balasubramanian. That was my first song in the movie. Yes. Questions, talk.
Ma'am, which song, ma'am? Which song?
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, that's that was yes. Thanks for making me relive all those moments. Thanks, Asha.
Very nice. Madam, one small thing, the Antimai Pudigira song, ladies' voice.
இல்ல ஜானகி மாதிரி.
Okay. கொஞ்சம் ரிசப்ளன்ஸ் இருந்து அதான் கேட்டுட்டு get my.
Yeah, as I told you, ஜானகி அம்மாவை கேட்டு தான் நான் வளர்ந்தது. Naturally, she's yeah. And the first song that she taught me was she taught me because I had come to Chennai to my uncle's house, even before coming to my guru's place. For my summer vacation, when I had come there, there was this Dr. Balkrishna Menon who was a producer, and he was an Ayurveda doctor. So I still have. I had a lot of problems, issues with my tonsils and asthma and all that. So because he was an Ayurvedic doctor and a very good one at that, my mom took me there because I always used to get attacks for tonsils, and a lot of allopathic doctors told me that told my mom and my father that I need to get my tonsils operated. My mother was very skeptical about it, because she had heard people talking about my voice, and she was very scared whether that would affect, because so we went to this particular doctor, Dr. Balkrishna Menon. So he said, no, you don't do the, sometimes for one and whatever it is, it may affect, and I don't want her to take the chance. So he used to treat me for my tonsils and asthma. So it used to be a very usual affair that I would go there, and my uncle lived quite near his clinic. So he would ask me to go there, and then my mother would leave me there, and I used to sit with him as he saw his patients. After each patient went, he would make me sing a song. So then he was producing a movie. So he took me to the studios, Bharani Studios then. And because he knew that whom do you like? And I used to always sing only Janaki Amma songs. So because Janaki Amma was recording on that particular day, he wanted me to see her, So I went there, and I was made to sit in the console, and then there was one lady who was singing, which apparently was Janaki Amma. And after that, Dr. Balakrishna Menon said that, why don't you go to the, when you are a kid, you really do not get the seriousness of who's who, what is what, So they said, you want to go and sing in the mic. For me, it was a natural thing, because I used to go for all competitions, and competitions anyway had mic. For me, it didn't really make a difference whether it was a recording in a studio mic or a competition mic. So I said, yeah, I don't mind. So what song are you going to sing? So I told them that, I will sing a song. Mauname nirayam mauname idile pogum kaattu ivide viriyum malaru niramai volgai olugum dukkam ennum enne thedi varum. That's a song which I had got a state award for that. I mean, I had gone for a interstate competition, and I got. So I said I can sing that song. So I sang that song, and after I sang, Janaki Amma came, and so she just lifted me and she said, "Do you know who has sung that?" So I said, "Yes, Janaki." So she said, "I'm as Janaki." Then I looked at her with I don't believe you. I said, "Oh." For a long time after I became close to her, she was asking me, "But why did you give me that reply?" Oh, because I said then it was, and then she took me home, and then she taught me, "Alagiya kanne uruvaniye niyange ininanange menteyaltani." That and Sindura Pove, Sindura Pove. These two songs were taught directly by her. And my catch me on that, my Tamil was so horrible. So horrible. So that was, such a amazing soul. I will also, because she knew that I was from Kerala. So one day I had to call her because she said, "Come home." And then she had given me, those days we had to call only on the landline. And I called from my uncle's place. And so I didn't know Tamil. So, but I thought I knew. And so I called up and I asked, "Janaki irkuda?" And that person who took the phone, apparently some of them, he blasted me. He blasted, what the hell, who are you? You know, he really blasted me. He said, and I didn't know what was wrong. And then I started crying. I said, I don't. And then later on she called. And then my uncle who knew Tamil said that, no, okay, you can come. So then we went to Alvarpet. She used to live in Alvarpet. And then we went in Abrahampuram 3rd Street. That's where she used to live. 3rd or 4th Street. So we went there and then I was crying. So then she asked what happened. So this whoever had blasted me was right there. You know, her family lived downstairs and she and her husband lived in the first floor. You know, so we had to always go through the steps to the first floor. So as I was climbing the stairs, that uncle, so the moment we were all, you know, Pakka Malayalam. So that uncle who blasted me, he came and he said, what kind of a girl are you? So arrogant and so disrespectful. Do you know whom you're talking about? And I told her not to call you and all that. I don't understand. I again started crying. Because for me, Janaki Amma was God. And, you know, how could you say that I don't have any respect? So then she came down and she said, you know what, she did not do that. She's just learning. And one day she will speak Tamil in such a way that all of us will be proud. So, and then she was the one who used to start correcting me. Because, you know, those kind of things. You know, there's something called diphthongs, which later, much later after Appa spoke to me about it, I did a presentation of just diphthongs. There's a very unattended or a very taken for granted thing in English, the diphthongs, which plays a great part in language, in music, especially if you want to pay attention to languages and idioms. You know, if you can Google and then you will know what I'm talking about diphthongs. Then she told me it's not but other. You know, that's so Malayalam. And you can't write. Then she was the one who said adu. I mean, of course. Then I said, oh, so whoever was Malayali used to sing other, and it is adu. And then, of course, then came the complete musician that my Appa is, my guru, who opened all my ears and cells to the nuances of the multiple layers of music. Yes. Getting emotional.
So lovely to keep hearing you, you know, the stories. I'm sure everybody is just so silent.
I have never spoken. And again, this is another thing that I wanted to tell you, because I've never done these kind of interviews anywhere. My very first interview after my super duper hit song, Otturuva, was done. A lot of people thought it was Janaki Amma. And well, I didn't have the courage, nor did I go and tell that it was me who sang. So I kind of lost almost a year in all the channels, in the TV channels. Nobody came to me, nobody knew it was me who sang. So after a long time, almost and all the channels, the trending song used to be my songs, but nobody knew it was me. And people used to say it was Chitra, it was Janaki Amma and all that. And then finally, I did my first interview on this particular song. I mean, a real big interview I did as a film musician, film artist in Sun TV. One Mr. Hariharan, he found out, or he guessed that it is a different voice, and then he made attempts to find out who it was, and he, you know, think. So, but I spoke so much about Janaki Amma in that interview that was, you know, sometimes by hook or crook, when the interview was aired, just after that I got a call. It was from Janaki Amma, and she said in her own sweet tone, நான் வந்து இன்டர்வியூ பார்த்தேன், என்ன நீ உன்னை பத்தியே ஒண்ணுமே சொல்லல, நீ என்ன பத்தியே சொல்லிட்டு இருக்க, என்னை பத்தியே சொல்லிட்டு இருந்ததுன்னு உன்னை பத்தி எப்படி எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும்? நீ அந்த மாதிரி இன்டர்வியூவே கொடுக்க கூடாது. ஒரு வாட்டி சொல்லிதோட நிறுத்தி இருக்கணும். என்னை பத்தியே தான் நீ இன்டர்வியூ எனக்கு கொடுத்தியா இல்ல உனக்கு கொடுத்தியா? She asked me that. She was the one who said, you were talking so much about me and your guru and your, you know, the other singers. You did not speak even a word about yourself, what you have done. And she knew that I had got my prizes and stuff like that. She said, yeah, that is not the way to give an interview. Nobody will give you a damn. She was the one who told me that. That was my first something interview. Not that much has changed after that, but still, yeah.
I think we are speaking a lot about Janaki Amma and your love towards her. There is a request also from one of our participants, Kavita. She is wishing to hear if you can sing any Ilayaraja's Janaki Amma song.
Ah.
Yeah.
Let me check the lyrics. I told you I have always a problem of lyrics when it comes to this is one of my early Tamil, when I started competing for Tamil songs when I was in Kerala. This is one of my earliest songs. Because I got உள்ளே போட்டு உள்ளே போட்ட ரொக்கக்காரி புளியம்பு சிலைக்காரி நெல்லறுக்க போகைய யார் கண்ணியுந்தன் கவலடி வண்ணக்கிளி உன்னை தேடுதே 6 மாசம் ஒரு வருஷம் அவரம்பு மேனி வாடுது அன்னக்கிளி உன்னை தேடுது அன்னக்கிளி உன்னை தேடுது.
We are just, immersed in your song yet.
I want other people to talk also.
Yeah, I think
cannot
today
unmute.
everybody is very
Yeah,
silent.
everybody. I know. I want all of you to talk.
I mean, it's mainly because, we are all listening to you, your stories. We are just immersed in that. So last session, I think we got many more questions. So anybody who wants to ask or who wants to write the questions, please, you can write it in our YouTube.
Or you can just come
comment.
on. Or you can just ask me. Or write it on me.
Yeah.
Yes, Asha, do you want to say something?
I was wondering about your experience in the Hindi movie industry or Hindi songs. Did you?
I haven't sung for any movies in Hindi, though I have done a lot of albums. My favorite there is Asha ji. I mean, of course, I have the greatest respect for Lata ji, but I don't know. To me, Asha ji is. Asha ji stirs me more than Lata ji, I would say. And my all-time favorite is, I have to tell about this person, just like Janaki, Parveen Sultana. Oh my God. She is like, I think she's the limit.
She's fire on the stage.
She is. And my guru was instrumental in bringing Parveen ji for the first time to Chennai. Because when my guru started performing Hindustani and he started traveling all over, then they met up, and then so he was instrumental in many Hindustani musicians coming for the first time in Chennai. And so was Kavita. If you can mute and sing, that will be good. Thank you. Kavita Karthik, if you can please mute. Thanks. So Parveen ji was instrumental. So I had always heard about Parveen. Then I started listening to her on the records. And Appa would always say, what a performer. There is, one of the greatest performers of Indian music or music per se. One of the greatest performers is Parveen ji. And I had always grown up listening to this from Appa, And so there was once she performed, after a long time, I got to hear her live in one of the big auditoriums, Radhagan Sabha in Chennai. And I was somewhere there, and the presence that she has on the stage, it was almost a houseful concert, and I felt that she was just looking at me and singing. And I was wondering whether Appa had already spoken to her about me, since I had this, I'm such a die-hard, I don't know, I'm a real bhakt of Parveen ji. And I think she's the limit in female voice. So, but she's very small. She's very small, short. But on stage, she was, I don't know how tall she looked. From the stage, I thought she was like a very tall woman, she was just full on the stage. That aura, that presence, with the command that she had. And, Appa would always talk about her, how she used to connect with her eyes to the audience. Those are all the things that my guru teaches to all of us. how, just not learn a song. That's something which I try to, many tips that I try to share with you all also. I'm very happy that we have an online platform. How do you, when you do not close your eyes, you need to have a conversation, you need to have a eye contact, look through people and give an impression to each one that, the artist is looking them. And Parveen ji does exactly that. Yeah, so she is one of them. But the problem is that whenever I listen to her, I feel I should, just resign. I'll say I will not sing. I will only listen. I'll become a listener. So it's so depressing. There was a phase when I used to listen to her, and I finally decided I'm not going to sing anymore. I said, if they are singing, and what am I doing? So, but then Appa's told, no, stop listening. That's not where I want you to go. Yes, but that's a problem. So I can't listen to her more. If I keep listening too much, then I will decide not to. She's that good.
We've heard her in Darbar, ma'am. She had come nearly when Priya was just 2 years old then. It was in Birmingham. And we had the fortune of actually sitting with her for lunch just before she went for concert. And, you never know, right? When what to expect. And that day was quite a fortunate day. We walked maybe like 50 steps with her while she was getting ready for the concert. That was in Birmingham. And her one of her popular song is I think it's on Durga Devi.
Bhavani Dayani.
Bhavani Dayani, yes.
Yeah. So when I was wanting to go and meet Appa, in fact, my guru, he wanted to send me and learn from her for a long time, but she did not. She said, what am I going to teach what that you have not? So I did not. But anyway, so, of course, we had spent some time, like I just met her and could share some moments and some tips, lessons or whatever. Then I also had this great fortune to sing before her, in front of her, one of the songs that she normally sings, Sakhiri, which Appa had asked me to learn listening to her. And she said, your judge is going to be Parveen herself. So, until then you will sing. So I did sing that song in front of her. That was, yeah. So that's when she refused to teach. She said, what more am I going to teach? It's good that they're very close, Appa and she's an amazing, yeah. So those Janaki Amma and Parveen ji, I think they're two. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, I think from Senthil Kumar.
Did I answer your question, Asha, or did I just transgress and go somewhere? No. Did I answer?
No, you did, ma'am. Thank you. You did.
Thanks.
You're going to say something.
Because I take off when I speak about Janaki Amma and all that. And a lot of people have literally told me, why are you talking like this? You just go on and on and on and on and on when you're talking about Janaki, but it happens. Yeah. So,
yeah, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt here. I know I'm kind of asking you questions outside what's going on now, and it's all these songs which are coming in. I'm talking about Bollywood movies.
Yeah.
So we have Bollywood movie songs which are quite now in a westernized way.
Yes.
So even when they sing, they want the singers to copy the Western type of singing, even if they're singing a ghazal or a romantic song. Put the words in such a way that they sound westernized with the guitar or with the drums. So when we sing as a classical singer or as a somebody who has always listened to bhajans and these kind of folk music, it's very hard for them to copy them or to listen to them. So they'll just sing plain rather than an accent in.
Yes, because most of them are auto-tuned. You don't have to sing in surat at all. So only if you sing plain, you can auto-tune. If you sing like Sakhiri, I can auto-tune. I can't. No machine has been invented to auto-tune that. So if I'm singing a song, you know, these kind of plain notes once, you just can mix it with auto-tune it, and whatever that you want to give, you can give. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Yes, go on, go
that's
on.
fine. Something like Mituva, you know, this kind of Mituva, that song. So they're singing like Mituva as if some kind of Britishers singing a song.
Yes.
Yeah, and I really kind of I don't want to say, but I don't like that because they change it so much that we don't really know what the exact words are.
Yeah.
So
Mituva, I think at least a little decent in Mituva was. But the problem is this, Ekta, that that's what I keep telling somebody. I was talking to my board members. I said, see, if I do not cherish, if I do not know the value of what I have, then you think something else is better. Which is why I want to copy. See, whatever you think is the in thing or something superior, I want to copy that, right? Okay, so even I have seen a lot of, I mean, coming naturally, putting up an accent naturally is automatically when you go to a place, you know, there is a natural accent for the children and for the, but there are a lot of people who, even in India, they put up, you know, speaking English in an Indian accent is wrong. Or it's something like, you know, that means you're not like in that, that circles, you know, oh, you have an Indian accent. I mean, if you can have a British accent, if another person, nobody says anything if you have a Singapore accent. Singapore accent is exactly a Malaysian accent. If you are in Kuala Lumpur, you have an accent. You have Pakka Kuala Lumpur accent or a Singapore accent or a Dubai accent or an Australian, all that is okay. But if you have an Indian accent, it's something, you know, below your, oh, that uncle, she speaks Indian accent. She does not have an, please don't talk. Do you have an Indian accent? So this is what happens. You know, so how do I make you understand that I have seen the Western world? I have to say Mituva. Mituva. I have to necessarily, otherwise how else will I make you understand that I have also gone abroad?
Yeah.
Or I sing Western music, both I need to convey. This is the easiest way. It is not good. Each language, each idiom has to be sung with the soul that each idiom has. Of course, I'm also against singing. You know, I wouldn't want to perform a concert where singing all Western songs because I'm sure I might sound Indian. Right? I don't want to make a fool of myself. But if I have to sing one Western song, I will try to learn. I will, you know, try to give as much of accuracy that a Western musician or thing. But unfortunately, it is not accepted.
Yeah.
You know, how much ever. This, while I'm talking, there is a, one of my fathers, the Moors, they call the Moors, both of them, they're couple. He used to play the piano for a long, long time. He used to play piano. He was a bass pianist for Stevie Wonder. His name is Regimo. So I learned jazz singing and Western opera singing, you know, and Western voice, whatever it is, from his wife, Cornelia. She is also a teacher. She's a jazz singer also. So they live in Berlin. So once we had gone there for a workshop, and then, you know, I used to take classes every day from her while and they used to, you know, a lot of jazz singers, they used to learn from my guru. So that I had that time in the morning, so I used to take lessons from him. So then we had a concert wherein we were jamming with the jazz singers, and it was a big concert. So Connie was teaching me a jazz song, you know, a composition in English, and for some reason she used to love me singing that. And then she came and she said, Guruji, I think Devi should perform this. But I said, and then Appa came and sneaked in my class, and he was also happy the way I was singing the particular song. And so Appa said, yeah, you should perform this in the coming program. And I said, no, I'm not doing that, okay? I'm singing my Indian stuff and I don't want to make a fool of myself. And I cried. I said, no, please, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because people will because the audience is going to be full of jazz musicians and, more vocalists also. So I said, people will laugh at me after I sing. They're all going to make fun of me because no matter how much I put, I'll still sound Indian. Yeah, and all of them are from Europe and America, and I said London and all. So I said, no, I don't want to make a fool of myself. And then, so this the Reggie, who in the pianist, so he speaks very little, very less he speaks. So he was just listening to all the arguments day in and out. On the day of the performance morning, he said, Guruji, can I just have a talk with Devi, if you don't mind? Then he said, if I can talk to her, then let's do that. Then he came and he told me, Devi, can I know why you do not want to sing? I said, I don't want to sing. So he said, say, all of them are jazz musicians, okay? And what song you're singing, did you want to sound like Mariah Carey or Whitney or anybody else? If how much ever try, you're not going to sound like them, okay? But the people who are there, and the wordings in this particular song, it is about a lost child. Okay. A lost child, she's lost her way from the home. She's far away from the home. So that's what it is. Then he said, we would like to listen how an Indian girl would feel lost away from the home. So whatever the improvisation you want to sing, you can do that. I do not want to. We have heard enough of the Westerners singing. And nobody there is going to expect you sing like a Mariah Carey or somebody else because of the fact that they are all musicians. And if you're going to say, I'll play for you. And that made a lot of sense. He said, I want to feel how Devi would feel if she was away from home. Make them understand how an Indian girl would feel. And that's exactly what I want you to do. If you think this makes sense, you sing and I'll play. So then I sang, and it was such a welcoming thing when I sang. All of them, they said, oh, it sounded so good in an Indian voice.
Oh, wonderful.
So if you keep that identity, of course, but I wouldn't I wouldn't go and perform and say that, let me go and sing. Just as much as I sing, Indian, I would not dare to do that. Of course, if you for just one song, two songs, I can sing.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Me and Ekta, we are hosting a session for elderly people, and it's starting in few minutes now. So
okay.
If it's okay, we would like
to take your leave, ma'am, for today.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody
else? It's on Zoom, and everybody is just coming. So we'll let them know about our experience as well.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
We have a request in YouTube. It is from Senthil Kumar. He's saying a humble request. Mohanam Tava, always love to hear the phrase Seva Kakila from your voice. So that's a request from him. I think it's almost time up, but this one last request, if you can accommodate, then I think he would be happy. Yep.
विलसतु समधिकमोदकारणम् सेवकाधिक शोक निवारण सेवकाधिक निवारण सेवकाधिक निवारण मां श्रीरमा वदनाम्बुजमुरहर सेवकाधिक I'm sorry, I'm forgot the words. Purama Madanambujamurahar Pahinisha Gabhira Murantaka Sevakakila Shuka Nivarana Pahinisha Gabhira Murantaka Sevakakila Shuka I haven't done the charadam, but yeah, I can't remember. Long since I sang.
Thank you so much. And I think we should
Anyone,
thank all
any
the participants.
questions? Yes.
I think
any more questions? Then we
no.
can wrap up.
No.
Can I see everyone, please? So before we wrap up.
Madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you in the next class.
Yes.
Regular class, next
Yes,
new
sir.
session. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hey, Aima. Yamini. Hey. Shruti, Usha, Madhuri, Kavita, Aishwarya and Sadhana. Yamini. You're the one who joined last class, didn't you? From UK. Are you the one from UK? No. I think I'm. Hi, Shruti.
Hello, ma'am. Kavita here. Yes, that's right. Joined from UK.
Okay.
And there's a lag, I believe. There's a time lag. You're getting my responses a little delayed.
Okay, okay. Where are you from, Yamini?
I'm from Perambur, Chennai.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you earlier. Have I? No. Kavita, you're from UK, isn't it? Madhuri, can I see you, please? Okay. So, a big thank you and namaste to all of you.
Yeah.
To those who are traveling with us, welcome back. More to share, more to learn together. And those who are not going to be a part of that, reach out to us whenever you want. Keep singing and keep smiling all the time.
Thank you. Thank
Amberly,
you.
do you want to say something and wrap up? Or?
Yeah, sure. So it's again a thank you from me to all the participants who have joined this journey. And it's almost a month and really feel like we are all one big family.
I know, right?
Yeah. And the time has just flew. I mean, the lockdown was looked upon like something, how we handle, but the time just flew with all the sessions and every alternate day meeting up, singing together. So we would love to have you all with us. I think Benny had some questions too. So since we do not have time right now, you please feel free to reach out to us.
If those who want to have their questions answered with special either to the classes and the sessions, we could have a Zoom session only for that, because it's always better than talking amongst yourselves. It's much better that there are a lot of things which I can clarify and give you a better clarity on the doubts that you have. And as a policy, I do not appreciate people calling each of you and talking to each other and make decisions on our behalf. We would allow us to explain something to you. So anybody who wants to, we can of course have a session. Do let us know in the WhatsApp group if you would like to have a session, then we can take it from there. But that has to happen before, like any of today, tomorrow, day after, any of these sessions. It's very late for the Malaysia, Singapore people. I know that we've advanced the timing. We're gonna have it because there are a lot of chotos from Malaysia. And their mothers keep telling they don't want to sleep. Janani, it's time up. Go sleep.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Vinny, all of them have left.
Yeah, thank you.
Go and go to bed. Hi, Bhuma. Kuti is there? Yeah, you can also go to bed. Time up.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Bye, Kanna. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, sweetheart. Bye, Usha. Bye, Kavita. Bye, Sundar Ram. Bye. Ramnathan's iPhone, did I see? Oh, I know. Kavita Golgan. Gayatri. Good. Gayatri. You can come out of the YouTube. Are you still there? Can't see you here. Oh.
You became God.